Hello guys, so welcome again. So in today's video, I'm going to show you on how to connect MySQL database, on how to access MySQL database using Visual Studio. Normally, Visual Studio is the most commonly used development tool or editor for most developers. So I'm going to show you the easy way to access those databases without necessarily having to switch to the terminal workbench for workbench command line, or using MySQL workbench to access the database. So at the moment, this is one way of accessing MySQL using the command line or using the workbench, MySQL workbench, which I already do have MySQL workbench. So without having to switch, so I'm going to show you the easiest way to access those databases using Visual Studio. So without wasting time, let me proceed and show you how to do that. So first, let me show you the databases that I do have on my system. So I do have three databases that are installed in these MySQL that I do have in my local machine. So I'm going to access those databases using this workbench. So, and the way to do that is to come to setting first and then click on extension, or you can just click Control Shift X, and then you will open these windows for downloading and installing extension. So once you have been brought to this page, you are supposed to search for database client extension. You click enter. So once you do that, so the extension for database client is going to appear the first one, which is here. And upon clicking on it, you will click on install for the installation process of that particular extension to start. So once it will take some time and it will finish the installation. Once it's done, it will show you here install. And when you finish that one, you will realize that on the icons to do you will realize that there is an icon that has been added on the Visual Studio on this section. So that is this one. This icon was not there, but upon installing the database client extension, this icon will appear here. So when you click on that icon, it will open this section where now you are supposed to create a new connection to the database that you want, whether it's MySQL, whether it's Postgres, whether it is MongoDB, so whichever database that you're using. So it is from this section where you connect to it. So when you click on database and then click create connection, so it will open a window from where you are going to initiate that connection. So in my case, actually, I'm going to connect to MySQL that I have already installed. So how do I do that? So I'm going to come here. So this is the name that you will use to identify that particular connection that you're creating. So I'm going to give it a name, MySQL local connection. So once I'm done, I'm going to leave all these other items the way they are. You come to host. So the IP for the local host, normally we use localhost or 122.1.0.0.1.1. So you are not supposed to change anything. So in the case you want to connect to MySQL. Or before you come to this section, there is the server type here. So actually, by default, it's on MySQL. But in the case you want to connect to MariaDB, you want to connect to Postgres, SQLite. So as you continue, as you select, the option down here also changes. So SQL, we do have SQL DB2, Oracle, Cassandra. So all these databases are already there. So in my case, I'm going to connect to MySQL. So that's why the first option by default is the first option. So the host, I'm going to leave the way it is normally because I'm connecting to my local host. But in the case maybe I wanted to connect to the online server, so that's when I will change this one. Normally MySQL connects through 3306, the port number that MySQL connects to is this one, the username. So this is the root, the username of the root account that you want to connect using. So in my case, it was Ricky, not root. Sorry, small letters, Ricky, and then there is a password that normally that you set during the installation of SQL. So that password is the one that you are supposed to enter here. So I'm going to enter mine, and once you are done, it will prompt you for a database. So the next section is for to enter a database that you want to connect to. So this is in the case where you want to connect to a certain database. But in my case, I just want to connect to the server instance so that I can access all the databases from there, all of them. So on this part, I'm not going to enter anything. So, but in the case I wanted to connect to a certain database, I will have entered here. So after that, you're going to click what? Socket, you're not supposed to change anything else. So the only thing you're supposed to come is to come here. So you can decide to save that connection. So the connection will be saved. But now to confirm whether the connection is going through, if you are supposed to come to connect. And once you see that one, once you click connect, you will see here the connection was a success. And that means you are connected to that MySQL server instance actually successful. So if you come here, you will see that that instance has been actually created here on this side. So when you click on that one, you will see it will open without any database on this part. So the next thing, I'm going to create a sample database that I'm going to show you actually of what is happening. So for instance, let me proceed and then create a new database. So create a database, let me call it test database. So once I'm done with this, I will click enter and you will realize that database has been created here. Even if you refresh, it is there. So this database has no tables. So if I come to my terminal now and then try to see the databases that are there, you will find that test database is one of the database that has been added here. I can view it from a MySQL workbench, command line. So this is one way of interacting with these databases directly. So these other databases did not appear here because these are system generated. So all the databases that all the commands that you write here, let me proceed and create a sample another database. So I will come back here to that instance and then create what? Another database. Let me call it school database. Yes. And then click run. So you'll find that database has been created here. And then when you confirm from your workbench, the command line for MySQL, you will find that that database is actually created. So this is one way of interacting with MySQL using Visual Studio directly. So you interact with the database using Visual Studio Editor for your development purpose. So in the next video, I think I'm going to show you various ways now, commands on how to interact with it directly to the database using this interface that has been installed. So thank you guys. Let me let me see you in the next videos.